Howdy folks, welcome to Beach Bum Creations. This is Tom, and on this channel we will show you how to take the items you find on the beach. The seashells, the seaweed, the driftwood, anything you find on the beach. We'll show you how to make lifelong memories using resin out of those things. So, there's Boogie. Together, Boogie and I will show you how to make these things. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. If you like the videos, please hit the like button and subscribe. Howdy folks. In today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to do resin on a round object such as this mirror right here. It's a problem with resin, it's like water, it'll just run right off. So what I'm going to do is in this case, I'm going to put some natural rope. There's a little lip right in here. First going to take it all apart, and then I'm going to paint the outside of it blue, like a sky blue, sort of a light blue, sky blue. And so that way it'll already have a base of blue. It'll look like water. Then I think I'll put this size rope. I think I have some this size rope that I'll put around this edge right here, and then I have some smaller natural rope that I'll put in this lip right here. And that'll kind of, on a round thing like this, you don't pour the resin on, you brush it on. And by brushing it on, I'll scuff this up a little bit before I paint it, and then also I'll scuff it up just a little bit before I start brushing the resin on. I'll just brush it on, and then I'll put some of my broken shell pieces all over it, and then I'll let that harden up. After that, I'll go ahead and I'll place some of the bigger ones. Normally the big ones I usually I'll place it right at 12, 6, 3, and 9. Or 3 and 9. And so, and then I'll put one in between each one of those 3 places, and then I'll put smaller ones. That's just how I do it, because I like balance. I mean, do it any way you want. I've done it where I've made it all no balance with all broken shells, and people love them. So this will have a mixture. Usually I have a mixture of good shells and broken shells. I like broken shells just as much as I like the whole ones. So anyway, I'm going to get started on this right away and take it apart. So, be back with you after I get it apart. There's probably no need, boring for you to see this. Alright folks, it's apart, and I just got some steel wool here. I'm just going to scuff this up a bit so it gives the paint something to stick to. I mean, this is just cheap plastic, so it won't stick good if it's not scuffed up a bit. So I just scuff it up just a teeny bit. And that's about it. I'm going to wipe it off a little bit. You want to wipe it off, obviously, get the steel wool off of it. And I'll take a little bit of alcohol and wipe it off and get any residue, any oils or anything like that that's on it. You could use Windex for this too. Actually, I know a lot of people that use Windex. I just always use alcohol because alcohol is real good for taking resin off your hands. So anyway, after I took this apart, I took the glass, and on this box that it came in, I drew the glass on here. So after I paint this, I'll cut this out, the circle and put it in here just so no residue, no resins will run off into there while I'm doing this. All right. When I paint, I just give it a real light coat, the first coat. I wait about 10 minutes, and then I do it again. A final coat. This doesn't have to be all that good as far as paint coverage because it's going to have shells all over it. I'm going to raise this up when I next coat so it's off the paper and get the very bottom real good. I've always found it's hard to get the inside lip right in here real good. And in this case, the way the rope is going to go on it, it's going to be way up here. Usually I put the rope right here where it's going to basically touch the glass. The paper will be in here, that'll be up the same place the glass will be, and that'll keep the rope from going down any further below where the glass would be. And so it's going to be up here this time. So, and the rope I have, let me see. The rope I have is this size. But you can see the difference. Around the outside, I'm going to have this size, and on the inside, I'm going to have this smaller stuff. I even have smaller than this, but there is one that's in between these two sizes, but I'm out of it right now. I just have a little bit in here, and it's really not enough to do this mirror. So I'll wait on that, and I'll come back in about 10 minutes when this has got a nice tack coat on it, and we'll put the final coat on, the second coat. All right, folks, it's been a little over 10 minutes, so I'll go ahead and put the second coat on here. What I was going to do. Okay, get this up. I'll do the same thing when I'm putting the resin on, but I won't have 5, probably 3, because the resin, if it runs over, it'll cause a drip. So I'll be able to brush the bottom, basically, of the rope, so you don't have that drip. Even though I have this big rope on the bottom, chances are it won't drip, but we'll see. Looks pretty good to me. Put it this way, there's better light over on this side of it. Ooh. Yeah, now that it's up higher, I can see that lip better. Okay, that'll do it. And you go ahead and let this dry. I need the lid, so. Anyway, I'll let this dry, and while it's drying, I'm going to go ahead and see about finding some shells that'll go on it. I have no idea what I'm going to put on it right now, but we'll check it out and find out. See what we can find. All right, I'm back. I've been picking out these shells. I think, I'm not sure where, but this crab or that crab will be, one of them will be at 12 and one will be at 6. I'm not sure right now because I have to see it. These two Sunray Venuses will be at 9 and 3 o'clock. And then these are just some other shells that will go around it, and then I'll fill it in with a bunch of other little ones. So I spared you going through all my boxes. You can see them all down there, up here. I have boxes of shells everywhere. But this is what I picked yesterday. When I went out shelling yesterday, I got all these. So I just came right over here before I even put them in the box and just picked out these ones that are here right now. There's going to be a lot more. There'll be at least probably 15 more types of shells. So, I don't know, there's probably 15 right now, different types of shells. So at any rate, all these have to be cleaned. I'll bring you back when I'm ready to clean them. Okay folks, I'm back. Got my stuff set up to clean these. This is what I use right here. It's just toilet bowl cleaner, tile cleaner that we use down here. It's in this container right here, and this is just water. So I'm just gonna dip them in there. That's all you do to clean these. Some you usually leave them in for about 2 or 3 seconds, a couple times. See what they look like. And you can see how well it brought the color out on this one. So I'll do that to all these, or most of them. They can't all, because some of them will just disintegrate if you leave them in there over 2 seconds. This also cleans any bugs or anything that's on these. Most of these here I got yesterday, and all I did was just hose them off with the water hose when I got home. Get the sand off them. So at any rate, I know this is boring, so here we go. All right, I got them all. This is not all. I counted these. There was 36 different types of shells here, but I've got some other ones inside, and then I'll add some real small ones too. So they'll probably be close to 40 different types of shells on this by the time I get done with it. I think yeah, that one's okay. All right, we'll get these all in there, and I'm going to start putting the rope on any time now. All right, folks, I'm back. I'm getting ready to put the rope on it. And what I did is, like I said, I cut a piece of that cardboard out and I put it in here. It don't really need it so much on this one, I think, because the rope will be on this little edge. But I went and I marked a little teeny mark here. I don't know if you can see it, but I did it because that's where 12 o'clock is, up here, so it's going to hang up here. I always start the rope at the top. That way nobody can see where the two ropes come together. So we'll get started on this, and don't laugh. All right, looks pretty good. This will peel off. This plastic will just peel off the back of this when it's dry. So that's not a problem. All right. Okay, we're gonna let this dry for a while, and then I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna go around it here on the inside of this rope and here on the inside, and put some silicone around it. I don't know about here. Probably don't need it here, but here for sure, because the resin will run down here. Here it might not. I think I should. I always do, but I never made a mirror like this one. So I'm going to put it on there anyway. So, all right. When this is dry, and I'll set up for the silicone. All right, folks, I'm back. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put some silicone around it, just so that the resin has nowhere to go. And this part where it came together, that's important. So, here we go. All right. This is going to dry now. By the way, I'm just using just the cheapest stuff they have for the silicone. Just a general purpose silicone. Whatever was $3 a tube I get. Because it's not anything to seal or anything. It's just there to hold this in place and not let the resin leak. Once the resin's hard, it's going to be the protector and the thing that secures everything. So, okay, we got to let this dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to get the glue gun back out, and we're going to glue some of the bigger things on, and we'll see how it goes from there. Okay, folks, I'm back. I'm going to start gluing the bigger shells on here. Oh, wait. All right, folks, I have returned. I've made some resin up. This is no color in it, just clear. However, I did put some silver glitter, and a lot of it too. So I never use this much. I'm going to see what happens. I mean, you can use whatever, how much ever you want. Usually you can't hardly see it, so this time I used a lot more than I normally use. Most of it's going to be covered anyway by shells, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, I made this up quite a while ago and stirred it really good. I stirred it for over 3 minutes, and then I let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then I stirred it for another 3 minutes, and I've let it sit again for some more. You want this to be a little thick, not so runny as normally, because what you have to do is after you get it on there, you have to continuously spin it because otherwise it just runs. So you continuously spin it around for, I'll do it for 40 or 45 minutes or so. I'll just stand there and twirl it around until it hardens up some. And then even after that, even after it's hard, I'll place it on this, on these, and I'll come in every now and then and just flip it over about every 10 minutes. And because it still runs, it'll run for a couple hours. It runs slow, but it will run. If you do it for an hour and you just leave it like this, if you just twirl it for an hour and then leave it like this, and you come back 4 or 5 hours later, it'll be running over this. So this is kind of time consuming to do it this way, but it looks nice when it's done. Just a little bit more work. So I'm about ready to See, it gets real thin after it mixes. It gets really thin and then it starts getting hot. And it doesn't take long. It does not take long. When it starts to harden up, it hardens up fast. It's like exponentially speeds up. Okay, so I'm just gonna, it don't matter where you start on this now because I'm just gonna brush on a coat of this resin. That's all I'm doing is just gonna brush it on here. Okay, put this on here. So now, I'm gonna just sprinkle some of these broken shells all over it. This will help, these broken shells will help stop the resin from running somewhat. Okay. Now, I'm going to set it here for a minute. I'm going to sprinkle some on the top. I'm going to put a lot on here, but once it gets kind of dry, I'm going to rub it and some of them will come off. So it won't be quite so many. All right, well, you can see how much I used. I made up, let's see how much I made, 24 grams of part A and 12 of part B. But I had this little fish I used last time because you never know how much you'll use, and so you make extra, especially if you're making color, because it's hard to get the colors to match again. So I make extra, and then I just pour it into those things. And what I'll do is I'll come back and paint this again. I'll make some more, only the next time it will just be clear with no glitter. Once this dries, I will come back and then put the big shells, glue the big shells on, and then paint it again with just clear, and then I'll add all the little spots, the holes, I'll put some little shells. So that's all I did was I just got a cup so I can adjust this to make it level. And if you just have a clear fish, you really can't tell it's a fish, so that's why I'm adding blue. So I just happened to be pouring white the last time. And so, I mean clear, so that's why it was clear in there. Alright, let's fill them in. Yeah, I got a great big mirror upstairs. I mean, it's a big mirror. It's probably 8 feet by 4 feet or bigger. And it's got about 10 of these, all different kinds of crabs and fish, seahorses, all kinds of different marine animals that I've made because I've had too much of this. Okay, so there you go. I have none left over. That's what you should have, none. Got that guy sitting in some water drying. We got this is drying. The thing that's good about this is when you brush it on, it's very thin, so it doesn't take long to dry. You can still hear some of the shells are dropping off, so it'll continue, and then once it is, I'll go through it, I'll wipe it with my hand, and all the excess will come off. Well, not all of it, but a lot. So anyway, there you go. This will dry. I'll be back in probably around, I don't know, 4 hours or so. I'll let it dry for about 4 hours. Okay, see you then. Okay, I'm back. I've got the it's not completely a 100% dry, but it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and start gluing on some of the bigger items. Okay, that'll do it. This will set up and that'll dry for a little while, and I think just before I go to bed I'll come in and give it a coat of clear. Depends on how dry it seems. Because the first coat, this glue is just barely holding this stuff on. You can see it moves. So, but once I paint it with the clear and that clear dries, that's it. It's not going anywhere. Unless you take the hammer to it. So I'm going to let these dry, and then I'll come back. All right, folks. I'm back. It's the next day. I didn't get a chance to put this on last night. I like to put the resin on before I go to bed, so it's all dry in the morning. Now I gotta wait until this afternoon to do anything else on this after I brush on the second coat here. This is just going to be brushed on lightly. I made this about maybe 20 minutes ago. I stirred it for the 10 minutes as normal, and I let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I stirred it again for 3 or 4 minutes and let it sit for 10 more minutes. So it's pretty good. It's ready. But like always, when you pour, it's good to have some alcohol, paper towel in case you get any on your hands. You can wear gloves. I don't wear gloves. I find it easier just to use the alcohol. And so anyway, last night I added some of these smaller shells around it, and they may fall off when I'm doing this because it was kind of tacky when I just set them on there, and it sticks a little bit. Like this one, it's kind of moving. See, so that one, if I go to move, it'll fall off. So what I'm going to do is paint all the sides first, and then when I'm done with the sides, I'll come back and paint the top. And if it needs loose, I'll wait till it just about tacks up again, and then I'll put it on. And they'll stick that time because it'll be thicker. And plus, last night I let it wait. I waited a little too long. It was too hard by then. So anyway, let's get going on this. By the way, if you like these videos, please hit the like button because it really helps a lot. It helps. This printess is trying to get away. You know, the algorithm they have, it helps if I get comments, especially liking the videos and commenting. So, I know why I hear that people on YouTube all the time saying that, but it's true. All right, that'll do it for right now. Just gotta let this tack up a little bit. As you can see, I had to maneuver that slipper shell around a little bit. It didn't want to stay on there. So I had to touch the resin, so I got it on my fingers. So now it's off. So at any rate, I'll come back probably in about 2 hours or so. After I let this set up for a little while. Then I'll come back and brush it again, do another coat. All right, folks, I'm back. And I mixed up 26 grams of part A, 13 of part B. And I'm just gonna brush it on just like I did before. This is the third layer. This shell does not want to stay up there for some reason. I have never seen a shell not want to stay where I put it. How much is that one? I don't think I like that. I'm gonna have to start using these. Get this up off the damn thing. All right, I'm gonna brush this on and try to fix that one somehow. All right, here we go. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Plies today. It's been cloudy for the past, 4 days. And this is considered the second sunniest place on earth, Plies. And the sun comes out every day practically, 320 days a year, but it's been cloudy most of the day for the last 4 days. Today's a nice day, probably 85 or so. Just a little bit needs more right here. Okay. I'm trying to get more in here, but I can't get the brush in there. Let it run off of this slipper shell or something. I think this is pretty much got it. Now I'm gonna let this dry really good now for about, all the way up until tonight. It's 1 o'clock. I'll do a last coat before I go to bed, so tomorrow it'll be dry when I wake up in the morning. Because I like to be able to, especially when you're putting it back together, to be moving it all around. And not have stuff fall off. I mean, most of the things I make, when I get this done, you'll be able to take it outside and just hose it off with your water hose to clean it. Take the glass out and the clock, of course, but almost all my projects, I just hose them off with the water hose. Because, it's a knick-knack. It gets dusty and dirty. You have to clean them every now and then. So that's how I make them, where it's easy to clean them. Otherwise, they just get dirty and grungy and look old and ugly. So I guess that's stuck on there. All right, that'll do it for now. We'll see you probably in about 8 hours. Okay, folks, I'm back. It's dry. I had completely forgotten about this rope. And I saw a hole over on that side, and I said, what's that for? And remember, it had this rope. I've made I don't know how many, 25 or so of these clocks, and none of them ever had this rope, so I have space. So anyway, I had to take these shells off and put it underneath. So I did it on this side, and also I broke a shell over here, so I had to change it. But at any rate, it's still got that Morton's egg. I had to put a smaller one on it, and then I added that white one. I can't hardly see what I'm doing here. I had that white one back there. So that's pretty secured now. It shouldn't move. I've glued it. So now I've made up in here 15 or 16 grams of part A and 8 of part B. And I've already stirred it, and it's been a while, so I've just got this little brush right here, and I'm going to use this little one just to paint those ones that I replaced. So this will be done tomorrow morning. It'll be completely cured and ready to put the clock back into it. All right. That'll do it. Tomorrow morning I'll put the clock in, so the next time you see it, it'll have the clock in it. Okay, here's item number 135. It's complete. It's a clock with some natural rope around the edges. At the very top there, it's a alternate Talon shell with the mangrove crabs set in blue resin. Got our paper fig right there. Back in there's a slipper shell. That's a true tulip. And it's a broad-ribbed cardita. That's a Chinese lippet. There's a channeled duck clam. Got that one already. And this one here is a Panamic combed Venus, a flat scallop, another one of those true tulip snails. Up top there is a spiny ribbed, this one's a spiny ribbed cockle. It's an angel wing. It's a coquina right there. And this is a transverse arc. This is also a transverse arc right there. This is a cross-barred Venus. This one. This one's called a rough scallop. It's a lettered. I forgot what it's called. It's not a cone. I'll come back to it. That's a calico scallop. This one's a cardita. I can't remember what it's called either. Cross something cardita. Angel wing. I don't know what this one is down there. This one up top here is a cayenne keyhole limpet. Well, that's a olive. And there's a rock snail right here. This is a cowrie, a tiger's paw down there. And this one's called a marten spike auger. This is called a lady in waiting. Cowrie also. There's a Florida cone. I don't know what that one is. This one's called I think it's called a transverse. It's a flat scallop. It's a turkey wing right here. It's a common limpet. This one is a common limpet. This one's a sundial. This one here is a Sunray Venus. Up there atop is an alphabet cone. And this is a Morton's egg. Cockle. This one here, I've heard these two here are the same. It's called a white Irish scallop. There's a kitten's paw right there. You can barely see it, it's a little. Slipper shell. Another comb de Venus. Lion's paw. Another coquina. This one back here. This little one up here. That's called a mosaic. That's a rose petal. And that one is, back there, the yellow one's a princess egg. So that's it. It's got 3 types of seaweed on it, 2 types of crabs, and 36 that I know of types of shells. There's more than that, but I don't know them. So there it is.